Welcome to our conversation on counterfeit drugs, fake drugs, the kind of effects that it is likely to have on you. But like I did indicate, I have some tablets that I would show you on the screen in a little while. Let me just introduce my guest in studio. Dr. Daniel Amenin Danquah is a Deputy Registrar of Prisons, Pharmacy Council. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for making time for us to talk about this very important issue.
Thank you.
Of counterfeit drugs.
Thank you.
How critical is it in Ghana today?
Counterfeit medicines it will remain a very critical issue, even at the time that we believe that we don't even have it in Ghana. It still remains a critical thing because it is an international business. And when you close your eyes, they will find you. So even if you don't have it, you have to be 24/7 alert. So it will always remain critical.
I found some tablets yesterday, and if we're ready with that, can we just show it? Let's see. The question is, can you spot the fake? And this was in a presentation, a TEDx Boston presentation. That's where we picked, but this is it. Can you spot the fake? We've got our WhatsApp line. And I want people to send me a WhatsApp message right now. If it's the one on your left, so we're all watching the television, so there's the one on the left, the one on the right. Tell me, what do you think? Which one is fake in the next 5 minutes via WhatsApp? Via WhatsApp. And I'm asking this because it's very difficult to tell what is original and fake with just the packaging, correct?
Yes, it is. But with little education, you would be able to get close to identifying what is fake.
Okay.
And it has to do with the appearance, observation, your ability to observe the medicines you are prescribed or given to by your pharmacist. If you observe your medicines closely for some time, assuming that the first one that was given to you was the right one, and you get the right features of it and you observe it properly, the next time the same medicine is given and it's fake, you know.
Okay,
you'll be able to
so what I'm picking is you may not be able to tell if you're introduced to the medicine for the first time. You may not be able to tell if it is fake or it's original.
You would be able to tell. It depends on the person we're talking about here. Like the example you placed on the screen. If you look at it, one of the attributes or the indicators for fake drug is the labeling. The labeling, the appearance of the drug. And if you see any drug with a label, that cannot be read. So as I sit here, I see it on the screen.
Okay.
And you see that the label is jammed together. You can't read it.
Okay.
The one on the left.
Okay.
You can't read what is there. Even when you get closer, you still find it difficult reading what is there.
Okay. On the other hand, the one on the right doesn't have any writings at all.
That is also another issue. So if you see any medication that is not properly labeled, and when we talk of proper labeling, it will, if you are not trained, then it will be based on your experiences over time. So if you buy a paracetamol, you know how paracetamol look like, and how if it is blistered, there is a label on the blister itself, and there is a label on the tablet after you've taken it out of the blister. And so when you know this, and you take out the tablet and you don't see any label on it, you take out the blister, you don't see any label on it, that alone is an indicator. And even when there is a label, you go further to find out what is written there. And this is where, unfortunately, majority of us are not able to look at what is written there.
Okay.
And even when they look at it, they don't understand it.
So when you suspect that a drug is fake, or it may not be the right one, what are your rights as an individual in a pharmacy doing if you're purchasing, or even if you're in a hospital and they give you that, what can you do?
I think that the drug is not being given to you for free. That's the first thing. You are buying it. And so you have all the rights to reject it. and move to the other facility.
But your basis is just your suspicion.
It does not really matter. When you suspect something not to be good for you, your best defense is to avoid it in the first place. You have the right to do that. You have the right to do that. The moment we begin to think that we don't have the right to do that, that is where the problem begins. You have the right to do that. Even if it is a pharmacist giving it to you, or it's a medical doctor giving it to you, and you have that suspicion and that conviction, you have the right to say that, look, let me look at this again. I'm not comfortable with it. Because probably I know the medicine, I've been taking it for long, and I know how it looks like. So I'm not comfortable with this.
If you're watching us and you've got questions, I would love for you to send it to me. And I like the interactions already taking place in terms of the tablet. I will tell you what is fake and what is real towards the end of this conversation. But if you've got other questions, kindly send it to the WhatsApp number so we can we can get it resolved for you. I've got the Deputy Registrar in charge of operations at the Pharmacy Council, Dr. Daniel Ameni Danquah, as my guest on this conversation. Here's a WhatsApp message from Godwin in Boku, who says fake can only be closely looked at. One, there's no label, and the other, I can read the label. To me, both are fake. Okay, on other issues, to be honest with you, I find it difficult to differentiate. Asan Kumayos and Emmanuel in Takwa Benso in the Western region. Do you get the sense that we actually even, as individuals, as citizens, is this something that's on our mind? Possibly the medicine you've been given is fake or counterfeit?
I think that it is on the minds of many people living in Ghana, but unfortunately, it's not on the mind of everybody, and that is where we need to do a lot of public education, public empowerment on these things, because the mere fact that you know that a drug may be faked, and that if you take a fake drug, it will have a dire consequence on you, that alone alerts you and serve as a defense for you. So it is very, very important for everybody to know this and be alert. Okay.
Here's a message from Angel Entry in Sunyai. Angel says you cannot identify the original from the fake when the first time it is prescribed to you, and even when you have not seen it before.
That I've said that before. That is true in some cases, not in all cases, depending on the individual. So education is key. But even without education, there are certain basic things, even if the drug is prescribed for you for the first time, and you see it on the medication package, is it enough prompting for you to begin questioning? If a product is labeled and the labeling is not clear, you really don't see the expiry date, whether it's 2020 or 2012, you can't even decipher what it is. The moment you see things like that, it's enough. Even if you haven't seen that particular drug before, it's enough to prompt you that no, there's something wrong.
How does it end up in the pharmacy, where you have a pharmacist, a qualified, a professional person? If they are not able to tell, how do I, the person who doesn't have that qualification?
Very, very interesting and intelligent. It is true that some of these fake medicines finds itself into pharmacies and other outlets where medicines are sold. Okay, and this is all due to the same vigilance we're talking about. If you are procuring, and when I say procuring, when you are sourcing your medications, if you source it from the right sources, the accredited wholesalers, you are most likely, you are about 80 to 90% okay. But even there is still a little slack that you need to check. And so if you don't check, then even you, the pharmacist, these things will elude you, and then it will come into your pharmacy. And at your pharmacy, when you are dispensing, you are supposed to observe, you yourself, the dispenser, you're supposed to look at what you are dispensing to the client. Unfortunately, sometimes this do not happen. And you see the dispenser picking up a medicine and giving it away without even checking and then later the client will refer the dispenser to the fact that even the product had expired. So if the dispenser checked, he would have known that even the expiry date is not correct. But these things happen, and the public can testify to that. So it means that you cannot 100% put it in the hands of the dispenser, even though it is his or her responsibility. But you, the patient or the user of the medication, you must also be on some alert and check whatever is given you.
One of the things I notice is that towards the end of the year, the beginning of the year, some drugs would expire. So my little son uses the Ventolin inhaler, and I didn't notice that it had expired because it expired first week January 2020, and I still have it in the car. I wanted to actually even bring it on and remind parents that some of the things that we actually don't even think either expires or it may not even cross your mind, such as an inhaler, would expire at some point. So it's good that you take a look at it again. But my question is, what's the effect if you use something that is either expired or fake drugs?
Thank you very much. When, medicines are meant to do specific things in the body, and the manufacturer of every medicine will determine, as part of the discovery of the medicine, what we call the life of that medicine, from the day it is produced till the day it no longer have life. So that's how medicines are made. And so if the manufacturer says that this particular product, its life is from 2015 to 2019, when we enter 2020, it means that per the manufacturer, the life of that medicine is off.
I have heard people say that is it a breathing period or something? Even though they haven't, even though they haven't indicated, oh, it can go for another 3 months before it's out.
There is a serious risk to that kind of deductions. Very serious risk. Because there are so many things we haven't even talked about. The issue is not only about fake or counterfeit drugs. It is also about substandard and adulterated medicines. So a product may not necessarily be faked. It was original and you purchased it or you placed it in your pharmacy. But over time, this same product which has not expired can become substandard or adulterated whilst on the shelf. And that is why when you are dispensing, it is very important to check what you are giving out. So if you practice simply because, oh, I bought a drug, it was original, and it has not expired, so you won't even inspect what you are giving out, that is where you're going to have challenges.
I'm curious, how does it become substandard?
When medicines are made, depending on the type of medicine, there are specifications as to how that particular medicine should be stored and be handled. And so when a particular medicine is not stored or handled properly, then the stipulated life stated on the medicine by the manufacturer becomes affected. So on the surface of it, you may not find anything wrong with it. But if that product is to be taken to the lab for analysis, it would then be detected that the amount or level of active ingredient that is supposed to be present in the medicine at that time will not be present. And the danger is that you would be taking it thinking that this is the medicine I use to control my hypertension or diabetes. And now I take it and it's not working. And you will know. And that is the danger. And the sad thing is that when you continue taking it and it's not working, you take it and it's not working, and you don't even know. it is a form of also developing resistance to the receptor cells. And so if that continues for long, it becomes a burden even to the entire nation. If you've watched, we have changed or moved from one drug to the other. When you take anti-malarials, for example, we used to use this particular drug, then we say it's no longer helpful.
And antibiotics.
All those things, and antibiotics. This is one of the key factors that lead us into this, and we end up spending huge sums of money. If you remember time when we were using chloroquine to treat malaria, it was far cheaper. Now the medications we are using to treat malaria is quite expensive.
Because we're doing combinations.
Government a lot of money. And so these things we are talking about is very, very critical and important. It's not the individual who is abusing or who is trying to cut corners or who is trying to make money alone. It can have a ripple effect on the economy.
What's the responsibility of the council in this matter?
Great. The council has a huge responsibility in this direction, simply because we have been given the mandate and responsibility to register, license the people, the practitioners who provide the service, and also license the facilities they use to provide the service.
You license the facility?
Yes, we license the facilities, and then we license the providers. Okay, and then we are also to monitor, visit them and monitor their practice. So it's a huge responsibility.
Is it something that you're able to effectively do, especially when you say visit them and monitor their practice?
It is.
Countrywide?
Yes, so we have regional offices in all the 10 regions, supposedly, because the new regions have come on. We haven't been able to decentralize to their level, but for now we have the 10 regions, and the officers there are in charge of the entire region, and they are supposed to visit facilities. I must admit that in some of the regions, depending on the number of facilities, they are unable to sort of visit every facility.
Okay. Are there troubled regions or spots in terms of either substandard drugs, counterfeits, you know, in your terminology? Are there troubled places?
Sure. In virtually every region or every district, there are troubled areas, and that is where most often we do most of the enforcement. So we have, in addition to these inspections and monitoring, we have another methodology we call sweeps that we do together with the police. So we sweep an area and make sure we take over whatever medicines they have in that area.
Okay.
So we from time to time also do those kind of things. But if you look at the country as a whole, we still have some serious challenges, you know, because there are certain things when you go to other jurisdictions, you hardly come across unless you move to some specific places before you see it. Unfortunately, in Ghana, you virtually see it everywhere.
Issues such as?
Issues such as peddling of medicines. Peddling of medicines. It is even in Accra here, right in front of our office, you sometimes see people peddling medicines, carrying it in a polythene bag, transparent polythene bag.
That should never ever happen?
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. These people, we arrest them with the police and they take them through the law, they are released, they're doing
Is
it
it that
again.
way? Is it that the punishment is not punitive enough, or we don't have adequate laws to deal with it?
One, I would think that we have adequate laws, but we tend to have a bit of many laws that are not really integrated. For instance, in this country we have the Herbal Medicine Directorate, and so we recognize the use of herbal medicine in Ghana is approved. And then we have orthodox medicines. Pharmacy Council as a directorate deals with orthodox medicines and not herbal medicines. And so if somebody is peddling herbal medicines, it becomes difficult for me to even question this person.
Because there's nothing you can do.
You
don't have jurisdiction.
But the funny thing is that this same person peddling herbal medicine have orthodox medicine in the content he's holding. If you actually confront the person and go through what he or she has, you will see orthodox medicine in there. So he's hiding under a certain definition by doing something else.
What can we do to curb this?
I think that there should be some form of integration of the law at a certain point, because when you are starting anything new, you get better results when you allow that new thing to be on its own, and then you kickstart it. But once it gets started, I think with time we should look at bringing it together. After all, they are all medicines.
Okay, so when you say that, you're speaking to the specific issue of the herbal medicines.
Sure.
So a herbal center doesn't come under you, where they sell, a place where they sell herbal medicines.
Sure, it doesn't come under us.
But have they got a regulatory body?
Yes, they have.
Okay, do they do similar things that you do in terms of the monitoring, the licensing of the facility
Exactly.
and the operation?
Their mandate is exactly the same as ours. You know, but the issue has got to do with the number of resources, the human resource you have to go out, because you are going out after a number of facilities. And so if your number is so few, how many can you even visit in Accra in a week and in a month?
Okay, I guess these are the policy institutional issues, but what we're hoping to do with this conversation is to help everybody, the everyday person, to be able to identify what is fake and what is original, what is substandard and what is not. So just by way of recap in terms of what we can do, what would you say the tips are again in identifying?
Thank you. The tips to help people to be able to identify fake or substandard or counterfeit medicine. One is the appearance, how the medicines appear. So from today, if you are on any medication, please take a critical look at that medication. When it is packaged and when you take it out of the package and you're even about to swallow it, look at that tablet you are, or capsule or liquid that you are swallowing. What is its color? What is its shape? You know, how does it feel? Okay. You know, because our mothers and brothers who don't even have a sight to see, they can touch it and feel. And that is how medicines are made. So you can touch it and look at how it feels.
Okay.
And you can look at it and observe the colors and look at the shape. And so if next time you are given the same medication and you touch and the feelings are different, the shapes are different, the colors are different, that is enough prompting to you.
Okay. All right. So we, you know, as we bring the conversation to a close, of course, I asked you a question if you can figure out the tablets that I shown, and I have the correct ones, as in what is original and what is fake. And this was picked out of somebody's presentation. It was a TEDx presentation, and this was some of the examples, you know, that they gave. Gary Joseph says education from doc is good to us. Who should I report it if I find a fake drugs? If I find fake drugs, Gary is asking who is the place, or where is the place?
Sure, you can report to the Food and Drugs Authority. You can report to the Pharmacy Council.
Okay. All right. Okay, Doc, I would like to say thank you to you for your time. But right now, can we put the what is right and what is fake on the screen so people who've been joining in and then making their predictions. Okay, so Aziz from Boko says, I think both are fake because one hand an unclear labeling while the other no labeling. Aziz from Boko saying that. And then this one says, I want to know, okay, what happens when poison expires? I don't know. This is a weird question. Most pharmaceuticals don't even have time to check expiry date. I bought glucose, which expired 3 months before I purchased it. So imagine the number of people that have taken it. Cornelius from lots of questions, lots of interest in this conversation, but we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much. So what I really wanted us to show, the one on the right is actually the fake one. So if you're watching TV, the one on the drag on the right is actually the fake one, and the one on the left is the one that's real. But it's hard to tell just by looking. Dr. Daniel Amenin Danquah is a Deputy Registrar in charge of operations at the Pharmacy Council. He's been my guest as we've been discussing the issue of fake counterfeit. We expanded it as actually to also talk about expired and substandard drugs as well. Thank you for your time. Stay with us. We'll bring you show business next.